morning.
Welcome to another episode of the Force for Girl Show. I'm Ricardo.
I'm Michelle.
And I'm Courtney. And today we're going to be talking about our word of the week because you caught us on Monday. And I want to tell you a little bit about where we came up with that. So we do our word of the week on our 6 a.m. calls each Monday, and we just pull a stick. The Do 52 sticks are stamped with a verb, and Do 52 is a simple but powerful toolkit designed by House of Shine to prompt us weekly to do things mindfully and to open ourselves up to new ideas. So this week, our word is rhyme.
Rhyme.
Rhyme. The definition, the verb rhyme is have or end with a sound that corresponds to another. Be composed of lines that end in words or syllables with sounds that correspond with those at the ends of other lines. Or put a word together with another word that has a corresponding sound, as when writing poetry.
Ooh. So good.
This one was an interesting one.
It was. I thought we were gonna totally cat in the hat this one.
Yeah.
But but I think the first thing that comes to mind is no rhyme, no reason.
Yeah. What does that mean to
you? Literally or technically?
Both. Like, what
Literally,
is it? Because y'all brought that up this morning, but we didn't dive into, I guess, what that phrase means to us.
I don't know what it really means, period.
I think
if you think about it, all it's saying is if what you're saying doesn't rhyme, there's no reason to it. I don't know.
When I think of rhyme or reason, it's like purpose behind what you're doing. Like if there's no rhyme or reason, then there's no, you could even call it structure or purpose or any number of things.
If there's no coherence, there's no reason.
Yeah. No rhyme or reason would be chaos.
Correct.
Yeah, that's a word I thought of earlier. It's total chaos. But sometimes life is. So like I come from musical background. So to me, I immediately think of rhyming and trying to come up with lyrics to a song or, I've known a lot of people who've struggled with rhyming and, in this perfect song that they've been working on forever. And life's not going to be melodic all the time. It's not going to be smooth. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to rhyme. Sometimes it's just going to be total chaos, but you come back to it, just like a song, there's different verses, there's a chorus, there's different components. So to me, that's kind of what it meant. It's going to go chaotic sometimes, but it'll come back. Just stay calm, stay in your power, stay, whatever the moment calls for.
And Bobby Cassio says, because it's in relation to the song, every song has a beginning and an end.
Yeah, that's good.
She always has. She needs a little mic drop, like emoji, Bobby. Yeah,
that just fit in so well, didn't it?
It
did.
Yeah,
I like that analogy.
I think when something rhymes, as in lyrics or poetry, it flows. So flow, being in flow or letting energy flow, kind of like we talked about this morning on our call. You don't want to block the energy, but so that's something that when something rhymes, it just kind of flows.
And fits together.
Mm-hmm.
And fits together. Like
coherence.
Yeah. It fits together. It's got a structure. And it sounds good. Why are we so attracted to rhyming? Like a lot of songs rhyme, they have rhyming verses and things like that, right? Why do we get so attracted to things that rhyme?
Our brain likes patterns. The brain's job is two jobs. One, will it keep me safe or kill me? Or will it kill me or trying to keep you safe? And then the second is your brain will just look for a pattern. So your brain's not technically looking to be happy, but it's looking for a pattern. But for better, for worse, positive, negative, your brain likes patterns. It will fit things into a pattern. It'll put a square peg into a round hole just to call it a pattern and feel safe, but if you look at what you're doing, but if you take that back to the rhyming analogy, sometimes it's not.
Sometimes it's not. Just like the places you'll go, right? Let me pull it up real quick.
I
The
tried to
places
find
you
that
go.
book this morning so I could be like, hey guys, I love that book.
Listen to this. Today, congratulations. Today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. And that's just the first like little section.
Yeah.
How great is that?
Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss bringing it. Today, you're
Mhm.
off to a great day. You're off to great places.
What is
You're,
the name of the book?
oh, the places you'll go.
Okay.
It's a
Yeah.
very popular graduation book.
I received it from a family friend for on my graduation, my 18th birthday. The same day, but yeah.
It's a big, like for graduation, for people that get new jobs. Like this has become like a cult/classic to give to adults or to anyone in transition and change.
I do have a magnet on my fridge that is the cartoon of the places you'll go, and that I got from a boss. So I do have a cool magnet of it too.
It is. It's just full of golden nuggets. You know, it's full of golden nuggets. Out there, things can happen and frequently do. And to people as brainy and footsie as you.
It's deep. I'm curious about, like, I need to learn more about Dr. Seuss. I wonder what his real life story is or what his,
He's got an interesting story. He actually started as a political cartoonist.
Is that what it was?
And the rumor is that he wasn't very fond of kids. Ironic, huh?
Well,
the irony of him not really being fond of kids, but he accepted it, and you know he enjoyed sending the messages of his books, right? So, because all his books had really deep meaning to them about understanding and accepting others and accepting people that are different than you and seeing things from the other point of view.
Yeah, there's a lot of self-development guidelines in there.
Yeah, the one that sticks to mind is the better, butter wars. You know, which way is it better to toast your bread? Toasted side up or toasted side down? Which makes no sense. If you've ever tried to eat your bread toasted side down. Oh, rhyme. So for those of you tuning in, Bobby and everyone else, what comes to mind when you hear the word rhyme? What comes to mind? Rhyme.
I know, it was a pun intended. Oh, I'm gonna think of so many rhymes when we get off of here. But yeah, it's I think, okay, so what's something fun or a fun tool if your brain likes patterns? What if, like, okay, where I'm going with this is like if we make up a little like cutesy 2-liner rhyme about our goal and just keep saying that or something. But like, what if you add a fun twist to writing your goals, which engages your creative brain? You know, there are a lot of people, I am close friends with the writer who it comes naturally. But like, for example, my mom would tell you she's not a writer at all, but sometimes she just writes these poems like once a year that just come out of her. So it's like, what if you incorporate that and I don't know, you're adding the artistic twist to it or adding, go back to the drawing board, looking at your current goal, how can you add some more creativity to it or
your affirmation?
Yeah. So I think I'm going to come up with a rhyming affirmation first.
So remember, to come with a rhyme, it doesn't have to rhyme like fox and box. It can also be words that sound similar with a pattern. So let me tell y'all my morning affirmation that I do every once in a while, or when I really get on point and I focus on it. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise, full of passion, purpose, and energy, and enthusiasm at the end. So see, it's got a pattern to it. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. Mm-hmm. See, and it rhymes, and it kind of makes it easy to remember. Full of passion, purpose, energy, and enthusiasm.
When you have that flow or that rhyme or the rhythm, when you have that rhythm, it makes things easier to remember, which is something that I struggle with, that I'm working on, is remembering things. And I think whenever with that pattern that your brain gravitates toward, when you have a pattern, it makes things easier to remember. So if you're trying to remember, lyrics, I can remember lyrics to a song so much easier than I can remember other things because there's a pattern to it.
Yeah. Our brains are fascinating.
So Bobby says, in regards to Dr. Seuss, that's why he chose to address children. He felt they needed wisdom that they were not receiving at home.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
And to your point, Michelle, the rhyming in his books made those lessons easy to remember.
Mm-hmm.
To where if you read them over and over and over, you would learn how to spell fox. You would know how to spell box. You would recognize that the fox is wearing socks.
And it makes the message easier to receive, you know? Like it's kind of like an icebreaker, but you're saying the same thing you could have said in a very different way, you know?
Yeah.
So today's call was very interesting because we had a secondary word of the week that kind of just popped up.
Yes.
What was the secondary word of the week, guys?
I'm not
Anchor.
Yes,
Anchor.
anchor.
Anchor. This was very interesting conversation that popped up because the fabulous Rebecca was telling us about her boat and her story with this great talk about how anchors work. And I didn't realize how anchors actually work on a boat. I just thought they just anchored you in, so to speak, that they just anchored the boat. But apparently when the wind hits it and the wind tries to move the boat, the anchor goes in deeper and really holds you into place. And I thought about it. I was like, oh,
There's so much there that
there's
gets a
so much there.
whole topic of conversation.
Yeah.
It really
It's
is.
so deep. It can go really deep.
That's where I'm like, where do I even start? But yeah, how deep is your anchor? Like, is your anchor anchored? And when you look at so Rebecca was talking about on an ocean floor and she compared it to what if there's like a tire at the bottom and your anchor just sits in it versus it digs into the dirt and actually holds you, you know? And how many of us think we're securely anchoring ourselves? We're actually dropping an anchor into a spare tire that's going to just bob on the ground. Like, there goes your boat, you know? So what are we doing? That's where I'm going to take the question personally is what am I doing that I'm not anchored enough in? Or, and just look up and see, do I want to anchor myself more or just that's something I need to pull away from,
Are you anchored to love?
Ooh.
Are you anchored to gratitude?
Or are you anchored to baggage that you need to release so that you can get get a solid foundation?
That flow.
And the other point that was brought up is Tamara was saying that sometimes an anchor is not the right anchor for the boat. It's too light and it won't hold the boat.
Yeah.
It won't keep the boat grounded.
Yep.
There's no foundation that way.
There's no foundation.
Michelle, will you tell us more about what it meant to you or how it came up in your brain this morning?
Well, to me, it was kind of an interesting conversation, which this happens all the time. But on our call, it's just that coherence that happens on the call. But this morning when I was walking before our call, I read the scripture and I'm just going to paraphrase it, but it says, we who have fled to take hold of the hope offered to us may be greatly encouraged. We have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. And to me, I've been trying to and I don't know where I'm going to head with this, but I've been trying to come up with a name for my coaching business. And that word anchor just lit up my brain this morning. I was like, oh my gosh, I've got it. Because that, the encouragement, that's what I do. And then solid foundation. And hope is, I always like to call myself a hope dealer. And so to me, that word anchor, when I read that this morning, was like, I got to use that. I've got to use that somehow. Then we got on the call at 6 a.m. I hadn't said a word about it. And all of a sudden the word anchor is just like constant. I mean, there was so many times the word anchor was dropped on the call this morning. And I was like, this is blowing my mind.
It's powerful.
Yeah, it was really cool.
It's powerful, man.
Yeah.
That anchor is really, that was a good conversation. And that really gives us a lot to think about. Are you, is something holding you down that you need to let go?
Yeah.
Are you anchored in reality?
Yeah. And then really we talk about, Tony talks about, I guess, I don't know if it's NLP or what, but that we can set anchors. So we can, if there's something that we're trying to train our brain or we rewire our brain, we can set anchors. So he talks about, making your move, or different things that you can anchor in beliefs to rewire your brain to so whenever you use that anchor, I'm not saying this very well, but when you use that anchor, you can wire your brain continually until your brain starts to believe this new, belief, or get rid of limiting beliefs.
And one of the things that he talks about is bad anchors, negative anchors.
That's what I was going to say. We're actually masters at this. We just don't know what we're doing, but we all have a ton of negative anchors. So listen up. Yeah.
The example that he uses and the example that goes around in NLP is if you attend a funeral and someone is touching, like Paul, whatever, his uncle died, and he's kind of sad, and people just continuously touch him on the shoulder. I'm so sorry. 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 I'm so sorry for your loss. And it's the same tap on the shoulder. And then months pass, he's over it. He realized everything's okay, that his uncle's in a better place. And somebody touches him on the shoulder, and then he feels sad again for no reason, because that was anchored in on the shoulder. And so we have those anchors in our mind when we see something, when we hear something, when we hear a sound. Like right now, if I played a sound of a train, like what would be our first reaction? Hey, the train, right? So I mean,
smells.
Yeah, we anchor ourselves.
People are anchored for good and bad, but that's another one that.
Oh, another one is if you get annoyed with somebody, if you're annoyed with somebody and you see their face and you feel annoyed, 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 and then you're not annoyed at them anymore, but you see their face. How do you think you're going to feel?
Yeah.
Annoyed.
Exactly.
Or mad.
You can just as easily look at a picture of your enemy and feel self-love and set up that anchor, but the emphasis is on you need to consciously do it. But to do that, you need to be aware of what your anchors are.
You need to be aware. You need to be aware, because you can anchor love just as easy as you can anchor contempt.
Mm-hmm.
Right? See their face and you feel love. You feel gratitude. You feel joy.
Gratitude is that's a morning practice of letting your anchor down of gratitude for that day to keep you grounded, to keep you gracious throughout the day and see through those goggles.
Yeah. Man, today's a good day. We got 2 words of the week about rhyme and anchor. Anchor. And that one just kind of came up organically. Anchor.
Yeah.
Love it. Final thoughts, Courtney Carr.
I'm feeling like real empowered today, all jazzed up. So I'm going into the last, week of the month, and I'm sales girl, so I feel pumped up. But I am, I've learned so much about what I have anchored in, and I need to sit with this a little longer, because this is some profound thoughts that this has brought up since this morning. So I'm going to sit with this a little longer, see what comes up. I'm tickled that I hope, anyway, I'm so excited to see what name she comes up with, but something is right. So I'm excited to see where it goes. But just go with it. Just flow. Yeah. Take Michelle's advice. I'm just going to flow this week.
Final thoughts, Michelle?
I think that too. Anchor is the word that I gravitate to, obviously, because that was totally profound for me this morning. But I think really focusing and paying attention to your anchors. So negative anchors, so that you can learn to get rid of them and then replace those with positive anchors. One of the things that even with rhyme and the way that our brains work and that pattern, like Courtney was talking about, is habits. And that's exactly what anchors are. If we have an anchor NLP wise, like anchors that generate emotions, those are just habits, and those can be broken. If they need to be broken, they can be replaced with good habits. And so that's kind of my thought on that.
All right, let's give the ending here to Miss Bobby Cassio. Rhyme and anchor go together well, because when you rhyme, it anchors what you are saying and enables you to embed that affirmation, or however, whatever you have read magically puts in the play, puts it into,
Yep.
yeah.
I love that, Bobby.
That's really good. That's great.
That was good.
Thank
that
you.
was good.
And I just have to, like, it was such a profound day on our 6 a.m. call. And then I really enjoyed this conversation. You know, this is what would happen if you just show up and not plan? Like, what if you're just organically in the moment? You know, so both of these conversations, just, we don't plan. We did plan a word. We planned 2 words technically for this podcast. But, you know, this morning, it really, I think all of us were moved this morning, and, you know, there was some personal stuff brought up. So we'll leave that for our 6 a.m. call. But, like, it's big. It's big. So just pay attention and
pay attention to the world around you.
Just have grace on yourself. Yeah.
Yes.
Like
and
you don't have to plan everything out. You don't have to plan it all. Just see what happens.
Be where your feet are.
Yes. And for those of you wondering what I'm drinking this morning, greens, amazing greens.
Yes.
No Red Bull today. No Red Bull yesterday. No Red Bull the day before.
Yay. So wait, 3 days? 4 days in?
Actually, I think I had a Monster yesterday, now that I think about it. But it wasn't a Red Bull.
I was going to say,
it wasn't a Red Bull.
Note to self, be brand specific next time I challenge him.
You got to be brand specific, man. Because if it's no Red Bull, like, okay, cool, no Red Bull. But you know what? No Cokes. I haven't had a Coke in like 4 days or 5 days almost. I can't think of the last time that I had a full Coke.
Very good.
So
now, the fizzy in that green drink, the Amazing Greens, it's kind of carbonated. So is that getting your carbonation fix that you normally get from your Red Bull?
I'm going to say no right now, because just no. I'm just going to say no.
Thank you for honesty.
But yeah, it's okay. Well, I'll get used to it. And this is the fizzy tablet, Amazing Greens fizzy tablet. Not a sponsored ad.
Maybe one day.
Green superfood detox, lemon charcoal flavor. So there you go, sauce. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. And we'll be back on Wednesday for another episode of the Force for Growth Show. Remember to visit forceforgrowth.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and the audio version. And we'll be back on
Wednesday.
Right? Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.